welcome to Kinship Worship, a program that's for us and by us. My name is Floyd, and I'm Seventh-day Adventist Kinship's Vice President. I'd like to welcome you and say that I'm very happy that you're joining us this evening for our worship service. We're going to start off with a musical number by Peter, followed by Dale Williams, a Kinship member from Florida, sharing his testimony and his journey. I know that you'll be blessed, and so please sit back and enjoy the presentation.
Hello everyone, this is Peter. How's everyone doing? Hope you are all doing well. Here I'd like to share with you a very beautiful song, which is in beautiful Mandarin. It is such a beautiful and lovely and inspiring song that whenever I feel kind of lonely, or let's say I feel hopeless, and if there's any difficulty in my life, I always listen to it. As is expressed in this song, His grace is sufficient. So whatever type of sufferings you are facing, or whatever type of barriers in your life you are meeting right now, just believe that you are not alone and we are always with you, and also God is always with you too. Also, I'd like to express my gratitude toward all our frontline medical workers during this pandemic. It is because of you that our community gets better and better every day. Thank you.
尝过主恩的滋味，还有什么更甘甜？一生最大的祝福，就是有耶稣活在我里面。世界不再吸引我，主爱胜过全所有。一生最大的祝福，就是有耶稣活在我里面。因为耶稣在我里面，我的生命海阔天空。无论环境顺利，我深深相信，主的恩典一定够用。因为耶稣在我里面，我能勇敢面对明天。无论环境顺利，我靠主站立，定睛天上荣耀冠冕。无论环境顺利，我靠主站立，定睛天上荣耀冠冕。
Hi, my name is Dale Wilson, but most people know me as DJ Diva Power Infinity, and this is my story. And like most good stories, there is a pre-story, a prequel, or a prologue. So this is the story of the story. This is the pre-beginning. And when we end up, we'll actually end up at the beginning, because my road to baptism is a story in and of itself. The baptism is a new beginning. So I guess we'll start. I was a DJ and performance artist for almost 30 years in the nightlife industry. I have enjoyed a life of partying, of sex, drugs, and house music. I was one of the biggest headliners on South Beach and in the circuit party scene. Circuit parties are big, huge national and international parties and festivals that are usually hosted by a city, and see flocks and throngs of people that come to party for a week or a weekend, such as White Party in Miami, Winter Party, Black and Blue Ball, White Party in Palm Springs. These are major, major events. Gay Disney is the biggest circuit party in North America. And I have always been a headliner at these events. I was actually born into a Seventh-day Adventist home, and I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. My family was, they were very strict. I went to a Seventh-day Adventist school in Miami, Greater Miami Academy, and I graduated from Greater Miami Academy in 1990. My father was very, very strict on morning worship and evening worship and Friday night worship, and we were very, very active in the church. But I guess in 1990, when I graduated, I felt suppressed and partly oppressed by the church and the teachings. And I knew that I had a secret that many others did not have. And that was that I was gay, which at the time I didn't know. I didn't realize it for what it was. I just knew that I was different. I thought that I would outgrow it. I prayed about it. I cried about it. I tormented myself about it. And finally, in 1992, I just surrendered to it and just came out and accepted who I was. And I felt that I wanted to, like the prodigal son, go a different path. And so I left the church, and I didn't look back. I left the church in 1990, but I really came into my own in 1992. Like I said, when I came out, I then started to hang out in the club scenes in South Beach. And I decided then that I wanted to make a life and a career out of nightlife, out of the nightlife industry. And so I forged a path as a club kid and eventually made it as a performer and headliner and the resident house performer at a big club in South Beach called Salvation. I was the headliner along with superstar DJs that were the residents there. And that was my place, my home for 5 years. From Salvation, which we call the world's only weekly circuit party because it attracted so many partiers every single Saturday, every single week. That led me into international gigs. It gave me a platform and an exposure to other promoters and other events that I started to get booked for, which is how I started to work in the circuit party scene. I then started touring the world, and my life was pretty sweet. You know, I got paid to party, and that's, you know, especially at a young age, that was just a life of revelry and a lot of fun. I was in a different city almost every weekend, different countries, being flown all over the place, big contracts, and being put up in the most beautiful and lavish hotels, and just being paid to be at a party, to perform at a party. And it was definitely something that I enjoyed. But all this time, I somehow forgot my anchor and where I came from. I threw away the things that I knew in terms of Sabbath keeping, in terms of the doctrine that I was taught, in terms of my beliefs. In the back of my mind, I knew that those things were true, but I justified my not following them by totally ignoring them and forgetting about them, literally forgetting about them. And I became of the world. In 2013, I was ranked one of the 100 most influential gay performers. And I had started to DJ actually in 2003 and became not only a performer, a nightlife performer, but a DJ. Started recording and had been the topic of quite a few books and some documentaries. But with all that success, I still had a nagging reminder that God was still there and he was still real. And in order for me to kind of reconcile that, I would again push that out of the way. In 2005, I was arrested. The life, the free, carefree, rebel without a cause lifestyle that I was living kind of came to a head in 2005 when I was arrested for possession of meth. At that time, I was living with a friend of mine who was a drug dealer. And at that time, I was partying, doing drugs, and throwing all types of caution to the wind. I simply could not be bothered. And at that time, I thought that that existence was going to be eternal. So here I am moving in with my friend who is a drug dealer. And one night in January of 2005, the police raided our home. They were actually looking for him, but I was there. I had just come back from a gig in New York, and I wasn't feeling too well that particular night. We had a house full of people. It was a big party, and the police came in and broke that up. A friend of mine left some of their drugs in my room, and I was asleep at the time. I had actually fallen asleep because I came back from New York not feeling well. And so in the midst of that party, I fell asleep, but I was actually woken up by police officers who needed to do a search of the entire place. And in my room was a bag of drugs. I didn't know how it got there. At the time, I thought that maybe it was some drugs that I had left over from weeks before. And so I couldn't explain where they came from, and they arrested me. Now, that is certainly not to try to excuse or diminish my role, because I put myself in that position in the first place. So anything that happened because of my decisions, still, I have to own that, and I have. But I was arrested, and that arrest led to a few years of probation. And eventually, after I got off probation, what I didn't realize was by taking a plea deal, I actually put myself in a position to be deported. You see, I was not a citizen. I was always a legal resident. I was born on the island of Trinidad and Tobago. And after I was born, my mother came back to the United States where she was living to raise me. But she went to the island of Trinidad and Tobago to actually have me. And when I was brought back over to the United States, I was given permanent residency, and I've been a permanent resident all my life. But in 2005, by that time, the permanent residency conditions had changed, and you actually had to renew your residency every few years. And if you were arrested for a felony arrest, that could put you in jeopardy of deportation. I didn't know that at the time, but because of the arrest, it then put me into jeopardy of deportation. And so a long struggle ensued where I actually had to fight to stay in this country, the only country that I had ever known, the only country that I had ever grown up in. And that situation really kind of woke me up to the fact that there was a God. God had not left me. And even though I had forgotten about him, he had not forgotten about me. I went through this tremendous struggle, and I had to lean on the same God that I had forgotten about for years. And he came through for me. In 2017, I was actually not only granted a path to citizenship, and the deportation proceedings were done away with, and I won my case. But in 2017, I also became a citizen, and God saw me through that. Still, even though I had started to get this awakening that God was real and I should start to follow him again, from the time that I decided to include Christ in my life and to seek him again was about 2012. It still took me all this time, and it's now 2021, all this time to find my way back to Christ. I think what the big catalyst was last year, 2020, when the pandemic hit. For most, the pandemic was a horrific experience. It was a horrific event. For some of us, although it was bad, there was a blessing in it, and I was one of those people. For me, the pandemic was a blessing because it allowed me time. It allowed me time to sit, think, reflect, research, and really find Christ again. March 8th of 2020 was the last time that I worked in the club scene. I hosted another circuit party event, winter party in Miami. I then took off from Miami and spun and DJ'd in Tampa. And then that weekend was the last weekend that I worked. Because I was out of work due to COVID as a club performer and DJ, I started to read the Bible. I started to pray more. I started to depend and learn to trust God more. I would take walks every day in nature and really appreciate everything that God had given us, appreciate the fact that I was here, mourn the death of those that I lost due to COVID, and I did lose some, but appreciate the fact that God had kept me and my family healthy and alive. And it's like my walk and my return to Christ came full circle all last year. And in renewing my faith in my walk in Christ, I then became convicted of everything that I had done and the life that I had led and the things that I had forgotten. And I decided last year to give my life to Christ. And I decided to do something I hadn't done in 30 years, which was go back to church, which was a big step for me because for all those years, I had been very anti-church. I've always said that I'm not religious, but spiritual. Religion has gotten a bad rap, and I think rightly so. I think that religion has done a lot of harm to a lot of people, to many groups of people, to many marginalized groups. But at the same time, there is a strength in a religious community. There is a strength in faith, and there is a strength in communion and fellowship. And I decided that I was going to not let the cons of religion outweigh the pros of finding religion again. And so I found a church and I started to attend. And I contacted the pastor of the church and I told him of my desire to come back to Christ. And I felt that I needed to be rebaptized. Unfortunately, this pastor felt that he was caught between a rock and a hard place, because he told me the official position of the Seventh-day Adventist North American Division, which was that they do recognize that being gay is not a choice, but they still believe that the act of being gay is a sin, and it's a sin that we can wrestle with and conquer. But it is a sin, and that he, as a pastor, as an ordained pastor in the North American Division, could not baptize me. And I had to respect that. I didn't agree with it. But I knew that for me, baptism wasn't about being baptized into a church or being baptized into a membership, but being baptized into Christ. Baptism was not about a membership in a church, but about my renewed commitment to Jesus Christ. So baptism for me is bigger than where my membership is. It is my commitment and my relationship and my personal walk with Christ. And so I started to research other churches. I reached out to the Kinship group. And I asked, first of all, am I the only one around? I thought that I was the only one in my situation. But surely there couldn't be. I couldn't be the only gay Seventh-day Adventist in the world. So I started to do some research and I found Kinship. And I was welcomed with open arms, and I thank Kinship for that. And through Kinship, I found a fellowship and a community that I can learn from, I can grow from, I can share with, and I can be a part of. And it was through Kinship that I found another church, another Seventh-day Adventist church, also part of the North American Division, here in Florida, that was open and accepting and affirming of LGBTQ individuals, and that would indeed baptize me. And on May 15th, I was baptized. And now I'm here to tell my story. But like I said, that was the prequel. The beginning is a baptism. It's a new beginning for me. And I am very happy to be recommitted to Christ. I'm very excited about my new walk. I was convicted to leave the club scene, by the way. I made an announcement to my fellow nightlife industry workers that I was going to be leaving. I still believe in the LGBTQ community. I believe that there's a lot of good that can be done in the community. And so where I can do good, where I can still organize events that create a positive impact for our community, I'm going to do that. I'm part of the Tampa Pride Committee. I am a producer of Tampa's biggest talent competition. It's called Power Infinity's Queen of the Night. And that really helps a lot of young and upcoming performers of all genres to create a platform for themselves and to come into their own. So things like that I will still do. But as far as the DJing and performing and the nightlife itself, I've exited that. And in fact, I have, through God's help, found another career. I now work in mental health care, and I prayed and prayed that God would lead me to a new career path, a new job that was right for me, that he can use me in. And he totally opened up the doors and led me into this career field. And he has blessed me with a new job and a new purpose. So God is still using me. There's still a lot that I struggle with. I'm not where I was. I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm not what I used to be. And I thank God for that. And so I am excited, and I am now living a new life in Christ. And this is my story. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Dale, for sharing with us. And I hope that everyone was inspired and blessed as much as I was in hearing that. Kinship Worship is a program that happens the first Friday night of every month. So please join us. And if you missed any of the previous episodes, you can go to our YouTube channel and catch up and view the ones that we have recorded in the past. If this is your first time hearing about SDA Kinship, please check us out on the website, sdakinship.org. We would love to hear from you. You can send an email to info@sdakinship.org, and I'll be happy to respond to you. If you'd like to join our mailing list or become a member, you can go to the website and fill out the membership form there, or send me that email and I'll help you get connected. Just wanted to share some great news with you. Can't believe it, it's already June. Where has the time gone this year? But if you're on Facebook or on any social media, if you've opened up any post, you've noticed that it's Pride Month. And SDA Kinship is also wanting to celebrate Pride Month. Our theme this year is Loved and Affirmed. And just like last year, we want to create a virtual Pride Parade. So what we're asking is all of our members, LGBTQIA+, as well as all of our wonderful allies, we want everyone to participate. So grab your cell phones and hold them horizontally and create a short video, like 10 seconds, just saying, hey, greetings from wherever you are, and happy Pride, SDA Kinship, or happy Pride world, or friends, or whatever you want to say. Just keep it short and show your enthusiasm, show your colors, and we want to put that all together and send it to the link that's going to be shown here on the screen, and we will put that all together, and on June 27th we will have a virtual Kinship Pride Parade. So last year's was pretty exciting, and we're wanting this year's to be even more so. So please, everyone participate. You can do it in English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, Russian, whatever your language is that you speak. You can say Happy Pride in that language. You can do it in English. We want to see you, and if you're maybe not out, you can hold a sheet of paper or something in front of your face, just to hold the Pride Parade, the Pride flag in front of you, the gay flag, the rainbow flag, and just show your pride. And because SDA Kinship is very proud to have you as a member, and we want to show the pride for everyone else. This will be showing it to the general public or anyone who logs on and wants to see it. So like I say, if you want to be confidential, feel free to cover your face or record something else, record your kitten or something, and just say Happy Pride. But we want you to participate in this project. So thank you very much. Have a great Pride Month, and I will see you soon. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.